Hi there and welcome to the Accelerate Coaching videocast with me, Richard Kingston of Accelerate Coaching, your weekly videocast about all things in the fitness industry. Today I'm going to be talking about foam rolling. Now, we've all been rolling around on foam rollers for the last 10 or 15 years, but what is the reason for doing that? Okay. The main reason people say that they do it is that it helps you recover, often the day after you've done a workout when you're suffering from muscle soreness. This is usually the delayed onset muscle soreness caused by a weight training session, and people say that rolling around on a foam roller makes them feel better. Okay, that's fine, but we call that anecdotal evidence. If you are in pain and cause yourself more pain, you quite often feel better when you stop that second batch of pain that you've created. Does that make sense to you? Well, I'm not sure it does make sense to you. However, the relief your body feels by no longer being in pain from the foam rolling makes the delayed onset muscle soreness feel better. The science about delayed onset muscle soreness shows that there's almost nothing we can do about it and you just have to live with it. However, it does reduce in time. With the more training that you do, you tend to suffer less and less with delayed onset muscle soreness. So, the foam rolling, does it work? If you've tried it and you like it, then yes, for you it might work. The second thing that people use a foam roller for is improving their flexibility. Does this work? Well, again, there's some evidence to suggest that after a session of foam rolling, the muscles that have been foam rolled will actually stretch slightly further than they did beforehand. The only issue we have with that is a greater increase in flexibility actually desirable? I know we all talk about improving flexibility, but this is a short-term change, and the muscles return to normal very soon afterwards. This is the same as static stretching, which if you hang in position, stretch, and then find you go further, within usually half an hour, the muscles are back to the same level before. The reason for this is that we've mentioned in previous video casts, your muscles are held in place by the nervous system. So, using the foam roller or statically stretching, if you don't actually change the way the brain is thinking about it, you're not going to get a longer term effect. Okay. Also, people like to talk about foam rolling improving the muscle quality. This is a slightly strange topic, and I think it's brought around by the ideas of meat tenderization. This is the only way I can really describe it. We've all been, well, maybe haven't been. If you're vegetarian, my apologies. But when people tenderize steak, they hit it with a hammer and it separates out muscle fibers, and the steak gets bigger and softer and is better to eat. However, our bodies are not made up of dead flesh. Again, the muscles are held in place by the nervous system. There is a certain amount of tension to muscle fiber of its own, but it's actually held there by the nervous system. So, does rolling around on it have any great effect? Well, if you wanted to step back from that, does sitting on a hard chair for any length of time, when you go dead, you get pins and needles, you don't get up and go, wow, I feel incredibly flexible now. Well, this would be or should be the same thing as foam rolling, and people can argue that you're rolling around. It shouldn't really make any difference. If you bang your leg on the side of a table, you don't suddenly get a flexible leg, you get a bruise. Those of you that play rugby that watching this, when you pack down in a scrum and you're shoving as hard as you can against your opponent, you don't come out of that feeling that your traps are now super loose and flexible because they've been squished by the opponent. You think, flip, my neck's about to fall off and I'm going to be sore tomorrow. So why would the foam roller be any better for you than doing that? Or why is that not the same as the foam roller? These are questions to ask when you step away from, oh, I'm going to use the foam roller and whiz back and forth on it. And people spend quite a lot of time doing this. I've been online and people spend an hour a day on their foam roller, and I'm not quite sure why. They like to say as well that it affects fascia. Now, fascia, I've mentioned before in a video cast, is the sausage skin-like substance that surrounds our muscles, compartmentalizes muscles. Not that much is known about the fascia other than it's a fairly stiff structure, but what we do know is that it takes an enormous amount of pressure, 900 kilos worth of pressure to affect the fascia in a physical way. Well, what does this mean? It means that if you apply that much to actually bend the fascia on its own, you'd break your leg. So it's not affecting the fascia by pressure, it's not affecting the muscles by pressure. So really, what's foam rolling doing? It's not working anything in a physiological sense. You're rolling back and forth. I mean, the jury is out, but we would probably say that it's working on the nervous system. The mechanisms we understand about pain and about the relief from pain, and therefore the relaxation that comes from using the foam roller. Would we advise using it? So if you want to clear that up, it's basically by causing pain and then stopping causing pain, your body is relieved and you relax a little bit further. In some ways massage works the same way, but there's a definite human element to massage that makes it slightly different, and the way that works. But the foam roller itself, is it worth spending hours and hours bashing yourself upwards and downwards to make a muscle looser or improve the tissue? It's very unlikely that it's doing that. The only way that would be happening is if your brain is finding relief and or you find it relaxing and the muscle itself loosens off. Again, maybe a better way to go about it would be to actually have a lukewarm bath and relax in there and let your body's nervous system actually switch off. That would probably have a greater effect on the relaxation than causing yourself further pain and bashing yourself with the foam roller. Okay, I'll put up a couple of things to support this so you can take a look at maybe some of the science as well, and if you've got any questions, just ask. This is Richard Kingston of Accelerate Coaching. Till next time.